Hello everyone and welcome back to Sketch by Sketch. Today I'm going to be redrawing this digital art that I created on Procreate, and let's get right into it. Alright, so here is the image that I have made on Procreate. This is just a character, no one specific, and I thought that it would be fun to redraw this in my ELO sketchbook for Inktober. So that is the basic idea of what we're going to be doing today. I'm just planning on trying to recreate this as close as possible, and I'm going to start sketching with a Crayola colored pencil. I've been really actually liking using these lately. They're just really fun to sketch with, and it adds some color to your sketches, so that is what I'm going to be using right now. And I am speeding up the sketch, but as you can see, I'm just using the photo as reference, and I'm trying to make all the proportions the same, make her face look the same, and once we get to coloring, I'll try to make that similar as well. If you really like this style of video, then let me know in the comments, and I could definitely do this again. I have a lot of digital art, and there's some time left in Inktober. Of course, I didn't have to do it for Inktober, but just let me know in the comments what you would like to see next. Also, I would like to give you guys a little bit of an update. I have been doing Inktober, but I am a little bit behind. I'm like 2 days behind just because I've had different things that I came up and I didn't get to draw that day or whatever, but I haven't been posting as much images of the art as I wanted to. I've just been slammed busy lately, so I'm just trying to put everything into these Saturday videos instead of posting things throughout the week. So just give me some time, and hopefully I'll get some more things posted soon. Alright, now I'm back to the drawing. I'm going to go in with a mechanical pencil and just kind of outline the lines and make them a little bit more defined, just so I know exactly where to put my line art. Just remember to keep in mind when you're sketching with colored pencil that you can't really erase it that well. I mean, it erases a little bit, but not 100%, so you need to draw super lightly with that. I really love this character's hair. I just think it's so pretty, and I just love the way that the curls go off to one side, and I also think her top is super cute. So when I thought of that I wanted to do this idea of this video where I take a digital drawing and turn it into traditional art, I just thought this would be the perfect piece just because I really liked the way that it looked, and I thought this would be super duper fun. Alright, now I'm just going to go ahead and quickly do the line art for this, and I'll be back for the coloring. Alright, here we go. I'm excited to color this piece. Lots of fun colors, and I'm ready to use my markers. I love using markers, especially these Ohuhu markers. I've been really into them lately, and so I'm just super excited to get into this. So as you can see, I'm just adding some purple where the shadows are going to be. I decided to change the light source from the digital piece and have the light coming from, I guess it would be the right side of the paper on the edge, and then just create everything on the left side to have a little bit more of a shadow. So that's what I'm doing with that purple tone. I'm just adding in where my shadows are going to be. I recommend doing this anytime you're using markers. I think a purple tone just really adds a little bit more depth to your drawings, and I just personally love the way that it looks, so I will always be using a purple tone when I'm coloring with markers. Alright, next step, we're going to add some blush. I like to add this before I color in the skin. I don't know, I just think it looks good when you just put it down first, and then I use that same tone to color the lips, at least for the first part of this. Alright, now I just kind of want to deepen that blush shadow just a bit So I'm just going to add a little bit more, but keeping all the shadows heavier on that left side, just to emphasize the light source and the shining light coming from the edge of the paper. Alright, now we can actually start coloring. I'm going in with this kind of tan tone, and I'm first starting out going over kind of where I put that purple tone, just emphasizing the shadows, and then of course we can blend it out as we go, but for now I'm just kind of adding it in where all those shadows are going to be. And I am being kind of careful here because I want to preserve the highlights on the right side of the face, so I am just being really careful on where I place this tone and how I shape it and where I add my highlights. So just take your time with this step and just have fun and really think about where the light is coming from and where it's going to be dark and light. And I'm using this method for all of her skin, not just the face, keeping it darker on that one side and still leaving some white space. Alright, now I'm going to take a little bit of a lighter tone. It's still a tan color, but just a little bit lighter. And I'm going to go in and fill in some of this white space just to kind of blend it all together. But you can still definitely see that that side is a little bit lighter and there is a highlight there. So I'm definitely just going in and trying to blend that in with the darker tone that we've already added. Alright, now I'm going in with kind of like a transition tone. This tone is has a little bit of a yellow tone to it, and it is kind of in between the darker and the lighter shade. So I'm just kind of going in and using this to create a more seamless blend on the skin, and it just kind of adds a little bit more depth and a little bit more interest. Alright, now I'm going in with a significantly darker tone just to add in the really deep shadows. I'm not going to use this a ton, but I am going to use it where the shadows are going to be a lot darker, just to really emphasize the highlights and the shadows. And of course you can skip this step and you can stop here and just leave it just more plain looking. I think that looks good as well, but I also just wanted to kind of create this to look like the digital art, and it had more shadows, so that's what I'm doing here. I also added a little bit of eyeshadow with this darker brown tone, and I colored in her eyes. Alright, this is again kind of like a transition tone in between that medium dark color and then the really dark color that we just used. And I'm just using this to, again, blend it all together and just kind of blend that super harsh dark tone into the medium tone. Again, just remember to take your time and think about where you're putting the marker. You can, of course, stop at any point just so it doesn't get too many colors going on, but just take your time with it and see where you think it needs more color. And now I'm just coloring in the eyebrows and a little bit of the eyes. Alright, now I'm starting to color the hair with a dark brown tone. I'm leaving some white space for the highlights. I am going to go in and fill those in later, but just for now, I'm going to leave that white space just so I can see where the highlights are going to be and where I need to add lighter tones. I'm moving my marker tip in the direction of the hair going, so it looks a little more natural and a little bit more like actual strands of hair rather than just a shape. So I'm just kind of going along, and as you can see, the direction the hair is flowing is how I'm making these strokes with the marker pen. Here, as you can see, I'm just adding some strands of hair, just kind of not in any particular pattern, but just kind of adding some and then leaving that white space just so it looks a little more natural. Alright, now I'm going in with a darker tone, and I know the hair in the digital drawing is much darker than this, but I'm just going to build it up. I'm going to start with a little bit of a lighter tone, and then, of course, like I said, build it up. So I'm using this darker shade to just kind of add in where the roots are and on the shadowed side of the character, and then, of course, where things overlap, there's going to be another shadow. Alright, here I'm going in with a significantly darker tone, and I'm going to just make individual strands of hair, kind of make the roots a little bit darker, and kind of just overall define the shape of the hair, and just add a little bit more of that darker color like we're looking for in the overall tone of the hair. So definitely emphasizing the shadows more on the left side, but I am of course adding this tone as well on the more highlighted side. And I'm actually coloring in blocks of strands of hair. As you can see, like I'm doing right there, I'm just actually coloring individual kind of blocks of hair, and I think that just looks so cool, and I just love the different tones that we're getting in this hair tone, and I just really love the way that this is looking. As you can see, I'm doing it again here, just adding in those different strands and then kind of just filling it in almost. Alright, like I said, we're going to fill in this white space, so I just used a medium brown color and just kind of lightly went over top of that. You can still see where the shadows were, but we are just going to fill them in just to make them look a little bit less harsh, and of course there's not going to be a really white shadow on brown hair, so I'm just going in with that medium color just to fill that in. And now I'm just going in with kind of like a black color and just creating a few more strands just to kind of keep the flowy look going like it is in the digital version. And feel free to create some strands that go outside the shape of the hair. I think this looks really wispy and pretty, just like these ones right here. I just love, love, love the way that that looks, so I definitely recommend doing that. Alright, let's color this top. I just think the color of this top is so pretty with the color of her skin and the hair. I just really love this lavender tone. So I'm going in and kind of lightly coloring it in with lavender color. And then I'm just going to go in with different shades of purple that I've selected to kind of create that bright, vibrant tone. And then also create the texture in the top, because it does look like it's kind of like ruched and puffy on the sleeves. So I'm just kind of using the markers to create some texture there. As you can see me going back and forth here, that is what I'm trying to create. Alright, and now I'm going in with a darker purple, kind of like I've done with everything. I just start with lighter tones, and then I select some darker ones to create the shadows and the textures and all of that. So I kind of just use the same method for each element of the drawing. I just, of course, move the marker in different ways and add the tones in different areas, but it's still the same principle of starting from lightest to darkest and leaving highlights and darkening shadows. I really think this purple color pops with the earthy tones of the hair and skin, and that's why I'm using these really bright purple tones just to really emphasize the bright color of it and make it really stand out. Alright, now I'm just going to add a yellow background. I think the yellow will look really good with the hair tone and the purple color, and it does look really cool. So I am just going to add kind of that square color, and this is how it was in the digital piece. So I'm just kind of adding that in, being careful not to smudge the dark colors of the hair. Markers tend to smudge. As you can see, I kind of smudged it a little bit right there. So just be careful when you're coloring around something that has already been colored. Alright, now I just want to add a little bit of texture to this background. So I'm going to go in with this orange tone and just add some little sparkles and stuff and stars, and just to kind of make it pop a little more and be fun. So this is the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love the way this piece turned out. I think it's so pretty. If you're interested in seeing more videos like this, leave me a comment down below. Make sure you like this video and make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you guys in the next art video. Bye!